Hi everyone, I'm Tam, and we are back with another Why I Think It Is. Racist people lack perspective. Being able to put themselves into another person's shoes because they come from, like, I guess, a kind of like a monoculture background. For example, their entire family is just, like, I guess, Caucasian, or I guess Hispanic, and so on. So see, they have kind of one kind of like lens to view from. So when something doesn't kind of fit the picture, they're kind of like, what's going on? I don't know. Like, that's kind of like, I guess, retarded, whatever they're doing. So it comes from, like, a lack of perspective, being able to, like, see the other person's side. That's all it is. Children from different, like, I guess, different backgrounds. For example, if your dad is like one background, like I guess, Hispanic, and your mother's like another background, like Caucasian. They didn't really have this kind of, like, I guess, issue, because they can see, like, both sides, and they actually start to train themselves to see both sides. That's how you kind of make things work that way. So when I hear, like, people who are, I guess, racist, it's usually people who are who lack the perspective of somebody else, of like, anybody else, quite frankly. For example, like, I've never been in China. However, I've heard that in China, like, they have, like, kind of like hard beds. They sleep on, like, a kind of hard beds, like a kind of like more solid bed frames, compared to, like, America, where I guess the kind of like luxury is a kind of comfy, like, big cushy bed. And from the perspective of only, I guess, an American, you may look at that, and say, like, wow, that's kind of like a, you guys would be very kind of poor, culturally kind of poor or something, because you're sleeping on very hard beds. Actually, from the perspective of a Chinese person, this is actually what they want. Like, they didn't intentionally want this, because because this hard bed frame is associated with, like, I think, better posture, improving, I guess, your spirit, something like that. So they intentionally actually want this type of, like, bed. It's not because they're poor or can't afford it, or have, like, I guess, no resources. It's actually what they want to happen. So for somebody who only has, I guess, that one kind of lens to look at the world, is very limiting, and also, you're just gonna hurt yourself, because nobody really does that anymore. Quite frankly, with social media and so on. If you lack that kind of, if you lack the ability to carry more than one lens, more than one pair of goggles, then it's really on you, dude. Like, it's 2025. The if I'll give you another example. Like, I had a friend who is African American, and he told me, like, I guess, some stories about the deep South, where they were still kind of like hate there. Like, for example, this old kind of like Caucasian lady still hates, like, African Americans, because she's like from the 1960s or something. So back when the time, back when I guess, racism was still kind of like the norm, so to speak. And from I guess, from her perspective, she was probably taught that way because of her parents. Like, this is how you kind of have to see the world. So you have the kind of one lens, which has been kind of like, I guess, shined and polished by your own kind of like prejudices, your own kind of parents' prejudices, and so on. So you kind of like perpetuate the chain. However, like, the loser at the end of the day is clearly herself, because she has limited her scope of life experiences by carrying around these lens of prejudices against, in this case, African Americans. Perhaps she could have, like, found a really nice, like, I guess, African American fellow, and kind of married him. Perhaps she could, like, have started a business, like, working with the other half of the population, pretty much. So she limited her entire, like, existence to just an idea that she if you actually look at it from yourself, you actually would not agree with this at all. Just because your parents says, just because your parents says it's okay doesn't mean it actually is okay. I mean, like they only know so much compared to the previous generation and also whatever they kind of experienced during their kind of short time on this earth. Like in the amount of like 20, 10 plus years, a lot of things has changed. Like no doubt, So just because somebody says this is okay or whatever, like I guess your parent or I guess somebody you kind of trust or I guess we're born into with like a sibling whatever doesn't mean it actually is okay. I mean like your own kind of awareness pretty much knows the truth and reality. I mean, usually your beliefs, whatever it is, perhaps from I guess a family member, perhaps like from society, you should always listen to your parents. I mean, what are your parents are wrong or racist or like your haters? Like, you see, like I mean, like that obviously that's not the case. So beliefs usually divide and kind of hurt you more than just kind of just taking things for what they are, the awareness of it, and so on. So I mean, like racist people just lack perspective. They can't understand. They haven't even tried to look at the other person from their own shoes. So no wonder you don't get so far in this world that way.